Hey, it's Ellie. Welcome back to another video, or hello if you are new. Today we are diving right into episode 2 of this probably very long speed build series. Last episode I started the exterior of this hotel, and now in this episode and the next 2 episodes I'm going to be working on the interior. It took me forever to get this done. But I am very excited to get these episodes underway and be able to show you, because I just filmed the cinematics for the end of episode 4 with the completed hotel, and it was very fun. I'm gonna release YouTube shorts for any of the cinematics. That's my plan anyway. I've never made a YouTube short, so hopefully I'm just, it's like a 3-minute video that I made of the cinematics, so hopefully that works and I can post that as a YouTube short. So if you don't want to sit through all of the speed build content, you can just wait for the shorts to come out, which will just be the finished product. And then, as I mentioned in the last episode, there's going to be a zoo tour at the very end of the videos, or the series, I should say. So, yeah. So what I'm doing now is working on the hotel lobby, and I had this idea for like a very large kind of circular bar, not one that actually serves drinks, but just like a bar for people to sit at and wait for their taxi or the shuttle, or just hang out. And my cat is screaming in the background. Sorry if you can hear it. I haven't invested yet in a proper noise gate. I'm just using like the built-in ones, but my voice is very quiet, so sometimes I have to have the mic pretty sensitive in order to pick up my voice and be reasonable in the terms of like the volume. And so, yeah, sorry for the background noise. I will fix that eventually. I'm still fine-tuning all of my settings, all of my audio settings. I'm still kind of working on the video editing, because I haven't done it in so long, and I switched my video editing program just at the end of when I stopped posting videos a couple years ago. So I never really learned how to use this editing program, so I'm kind of learning it for the first time right now, and it's things are gonna be a little bit wacky, potentially a little unprofessional for a couple videos, I'm sure, but I am getting the hang of it. I can already tell things are going a lot quicker, and I'm managing to add more effects and like detail to the video. So yeah. But like I was saying before my cat started screaming, I am working on this lobby right now, and so this lobby is going to have a lot of just kind of casual sitting furniture that the actual guests in the game cannot use at all. So I built it for no reason, and that's a lot of this zoo is just aesthetics and things of that nature. So yeah, huge bar, and I do include seats. And I have this worker here. I always have a worker nearby because I need to scale my furniture to be the right size, because I know if I don't scale it, it's very likely that I'm gonna build something way too big, because that's what I always do. Just build a huge zoo, huge everything. Like, everything is out of scale if I don't have the workers nearby. Even sometimes with the workers, like, the tables seem so low. The actual restaurant tables that they have in-game seem very low to the ground. Like, it would be uncomfortable to sit in as an actual person, but... Or I guess maybe if you're tall. I'm pretty short, so it probably wouldn't be an issue for me, but... Still, I do try to scale things appropriately. I do try to match the in-game proportions when I can. that doesn't typically apply to my habitats because I don't know what it is. I just like cannot gauge the space in this game in terms of like square footage of habitats because I always built them. I'm like, look at the requirement. I realize that it needs, 400 square meters of space. And I'm like, okay. And I go to try to build that, and it's literally like triple that. It's like 2,000 square meters. And I'm like, oh, I don't need this much space. That happens to me pretty much every time. I might do like a challenge to myself sometime and actually try to build a small zoo. But I think the problem is I don't really keep up with the animal management, and when I don't keep up with animal management, it means that my habitats tend to acquire a lot of animals over time. And typically in a sandbox, I would turn off something like fighting or like... I think I still have overcrowding on, but I don't have a lot of the like death or fighting things checked off because I just don't want to deal with it. And so I do like wait for the game to tell me if some habitat is too crowded, but typically I just don't want to worry about it when I'm building. So because I, even though I build in pause mode for the most part, my zoos, when I have to play them for like looking at the special effects or making sure that certain things are working properly, it ends up taking a long time in game. And so I think this zoo is at like year 20 already, and I've barely played in it. I did have to unpause it a lot because I had a glitch with my guest spawner. I think I mentioned that in the last episode. So I did end up playing the game quite a bit through testing that because I needed to see like why the guests weren't coming in and realizing that there was nothing. So that was a whole thing. But still, my zoos do get up there in years. My animals have lots of babies in that time. Like I said, I turn off death because I don't want to like put a certain number of animals in and then have them die and the groups are all messed up and they're inbreeding and all this nonsense. So I just like, I try to make it as easy as possible for me, but sometimes things still happen. And that's also part of the reason that I just tend to build bigger habitats, I think, because it's just easier not to worry about it, that if you have like one baby that becomes an adult, then you're gonna not have enough space in your habitat anymore, because that happens. It actually did happen to my flamingos. I put like, when I started, there was plenty of space, but then I don't know, I think I also accidentally made some of the water non-traversable, so yeah, that happened. It's okay though. This video just cut and I forgot to mention something in episode 1, and I'm gonna mention it now. I had not recorded any Planet Zoo videos when I started this zoo in a long time. I think I said I only have like 3 Planet Zoo videos on my channel, so actually me recording Planet Zoo is not something that I typically even did. And because of that, and because I haven't, recorded just in general in a long time, I kept forgetting to open OBS and start my recording when I would build. So unfortunately, in these early stages of me building this zoo, there are a lot of jump cuts where things are just suddenly built and they weren't before, and it's just because I opened the game and I started building without recording. And I'm sorry about that, but that's just the way it's gonna be for these first few episodes, because it did take me a while to kind of get back in the habit of opening OBS when I open my games, because I just haven't done any recording in so long. Don't worry, most of it is there, and especially all the fun stuff that I'm doing later on, where I actually really get into the swing of what the zoo is and actually, you know, build habitats and put animals in it. I do have all of those recorded, so. And I do, in fact, get a lot more efficient as time goes on in terms of actually focusing on recording when I'm building, because that was another aspect of not recording in a while, especially for a game like Planet Zoo, where this episode is like 4 hours or more of footage that I then have to speed up and condense into these speed builds. And so when you're recording for like several hours at a time, it's not always the easiest just to like be dedicated and focused on what you're building, especially if you haven't been doing that in a while. Because what I would typically do is like put on a TV show, and I would kind of divide my attention between building and between watching the show, because I'm not on any time constraints, and I'm not worried about, you know, it doesn't matter if I just stop building for 5 minutes in the middle of it, because it's not recorded and nobody's gonna, you know, I can be leisurely in that sense. But when I'm recording, it's very difficult for me later on if my recording, if my video, it has so many pauses in it. Like if I take a 20-minute break and leave my recording up, it's more work for me to edit that out later. And it doesn't seem like it would be a lot of work, but if I do it like multiple times in one recording session, or if I take like little 5-minute breaks here and there, you can notice those even when I speed up the footage. And I don't want the footage to just be sitting still for a significant amount of time. So I unfortunately these first few episodes are just kind of rough because of that. I just wasn't used to recording again. So I do, as I said, get more efficient later on when I start recording something, when I start building something. I focus on that, and I also don't go back and forth between two different like buildings or projects in the game, because that also makes it very difficult when I'm, say, building the interior of the hotel and then I suddenly think about something else in a different part of the zoo and I just go build that in the middle of it. It's like hard to make a cohesive episode when I do stuff like that, which I, again, was doing a lot early on. But towards the latter half of this series, it's definitely going to be a lot easier to for myself and you guys to kind of watch a video, and it will be very dedicated in the sense of like, okay, now I'm building the Indian elephant habitat and I just work on that until I'm done and I don't do something else. So yeah, things are coming along. I'm really happy with the way this zoo is turning out so far. I've jumped back into it again now that the holidays are over. Well, mostly over. It's the 26th at the time of me recording this voiceover. So like my Christmas celebrations are done, and I work at a university, so my university is closed from the 25th to the 2nd, so I basically have a whole week off, except not really, because I work in a lab with live animals and everybody can't just leave for a week. So I do have to go in a couple days, but that's okay. I just get vacation days later on instead, which is nice. So I have a lot of time coming up to get all of these videos prepped and ready. I'm not exactly sure when I'm gonna release the first episodes yet. I don't think it's gonna be January 1st. I think I'm gonna wait a little while, maybe like the second week of January to start releasing videos. And yeah, that's going to be a good time for me. It's also, I'm sure I've mentioned it on my channel before, but I play Dungeons and Dragons, D&D, and right now I'm DMing a campaign, but my campaign is going to be ending also kind of at the end of January, which means I won't have quite as much time that I need to dedicate to doing game prep for that, which means I'll have even more time for YouTube. So I am gonna prep my next campaign because it's a big homebrew campaign and it's just gonna take a lot of prep time, a lot of art that I need to do, which is maybe gonna be YouTube content. I'm not sure. I don't know how those speed builds turn out in my, or speed arts turn out in Procreate, because I just realized actually a little while ago that Procreate just automatically, or maybe I clicked a setting early on to record my, whenever I open a project, it instantly kind of records in the background, and then I can get the footage later on if I want it. And that's really cool because then I can get my art footage and potentially post it here later on. It will probably be like a bonus videos. I doubt I'm ever gonna post just a regular art series on a schedule because I'm gonna focus on gaming on this channel, and eventually I may make a second channel, but I'm gonna wait until I kind of have a lot of videos and things prepped for this channel before I think about that. But I've always wanted to do video essays and sort of more educational content in terms of like science and things, so you know, I may make a second channel to do that later on if I feel like I really need to do that. If I have the time, mostly is the thing, because I don't know, things are coming up, plans are changing in my life, and so I'm just hoping I can get consistent with the YouTube channel and make sure that I have enough videos prepped that if I want to take on a second project, or if I have something unexpected happen, like potentially moving across the country, then I will not have to take a break in my YouTube schedule and I can keep posting and, you know, keep this going, because I have a lot of fun making YouTube videos. And I also have a lot of fun recording the videos, mostly because it kind of helps me feel productive when I'm playing games, which is why I started this YouTube channel in the first place. But I really want to get back to doing that because it does sort of help me it forces me to take dedicated time to relax and play a game. Even if I'm recording it, that's still pretty relaxing to me, and so I'm bad at relaxing is really what it comes down to. And that's kind of why I stopped playing games for a little while. I first of all didn't have any time to play games, but also when I did have time, I was just struggling to actually like take a break and do something that doesn't have any inherent benefit to it. So yeah, you might have noticed I'm working on the pool right now, and I used this habitat enrichment item to make a hot tub. And it actually worked out perfectly. It's like literally the perfect size. The bottom is blue, so it kind of disguises that it's actually quite shallow. And I made this little wooden structure for it to be like a built-in hot tub, and I just think it looks so cute. I love it. It seems private. It seems like something you would actually see at a nice nice hotel that has this outdoor pool section. So I did try to keep the hotel somewhat realistic in terms of like visually what would a hotel have. It has this pool, this outdoor pool, and this little hot tub. And right now I'm building these little towels out of like metal rings or something. They're hollow on the inside, so I do have to kind of place them at a weird angle always to make sure that they don't, you can't actually see that they're hollow. But yeah, it does, I think everything works out. And as I've said a couple times, I'm just really happy with the way that this zoo is turning out. It's actually turning out the way that I'm sort of envisioning it, which I think is just a testament to how much my building has improved since I started this game. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else I have in this video that I do. I don't know if I actually complete the pool area in this video or if I have some in the next 2 episodes. Like I mentioned, and you can see just now, this my recording does jump around a lot. So right now I'm kind of just trying to get the sort of fleshed out version of what I want this hotel to look like, and then I plan to put the details in later on, which is again the next 2 episodes is all the details. And I do also build a little souvenir shop, which is most of one of the episodes. I think it's the next episode is majority me building the souvenir shop, and that turned out really cute. And then I think I did not record myself building the parking lot for the most part. There's like a whole mountain range thing that I, like a cliffside basically, that I built to kind of hide that I'm on the map edge. I wish I built this zoo further inland. But I also knew it was going to be a big zoo, and I was trying to kind of take up the space as much as I could. So I do, you know, there's some wonky bits because it's so close to the border where you can't move things around anymore that I just had to, I don't know, I had to do some interesting landscaping in order to do my best to disguise it, and it's still not perfect, but it is what it is. It's gonna have to be good enough. But my main goal with this whole hotel lobby was to have it actually be walkable for the guests. So under most of the flooring and completely the second floor is just pathing. I didn't even put a fake floor on top of it because knew it was gonna get weird with the staircase. But the guests can technically walk up here, and I did put a vista point kind of at that archway that I just built that overlooks the rest of the lobby, and so hopefully guests will walk up there and, you know, take pictures and things. I have done a little bit of testing as I've been building to see how guests react to things, and I originally had a vista point at the bottom of the stairs, but it was like hidden in a bush, but I didn't realize the guests were gonna like literally walk basically up to the vista point, like on top of it, and take pictures, and so they were like standing in the bushes taking pictures, and it just didn't work the way I wanted it to. So I ended up putting it right here in front of this archway, and I'm hoping that the guests will walk upstairs, take a picture out of the balcony area, and then go back downstairs. There's nothing else to draw them up here, so we'll see, hopefully. But there are things in the hotel. There's the information desk, which is the front desk. There is the juice stand I think I put on the bottom floor to act as the bar, and then of course the souvenir stand, the souvenir shop, which hopefully is a working souvenir shop. It does have the correct flooring and whatnot, and everything is within the bounds, but I know there's still a lot of issues in game with the souvenir shops in general. So I have no idea how these things are gonna work. I do my best to build within the constraints of the guest AI, but sometimes things get weird and I can't do anything about it. So yeah. Another thing I tried to do, because I'm building an elevator right now, is I tried to make this zoo ADA compliant. So it should have like ramps and things for the most part, elevators up to higher floors and whatnot. And I like handicap parking spaces. I just find it to be like a fun little realism challenge to make sure that you have these things in your zoo. And you'll notice, I think in episode 4, there's like I'm working in a parking lot or something, and I just suddenly realized that I built an elevator on the second story, but I never put one on the floor below. So there's no way to access the elevator from the first floor, which doesn't make any sense. Why would you? If you need the elevator, you need it on the first floor, presumably, and you know, all the other floors. So I do end up copying this exact elevator and just bringing it down, which luckily I'm surprised that it worked out like this, but there's a wall, just a flat wall that is directly below where I put the elevator on the top floor, so I was able to like realistically just slide it down and make it work. Quickly here, I just skipped a bunch of stuff. I have custom built this stairwell, and I'm gonna do one on the back at some point as well. And I figured you did not need to see all of that building because it took me like real time, probably like an hour for the front half and then like an hour and a half for the back end. So it was a whole process. Anyway, the video is about to wrap up, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss future content, or check back into this playlist if you want to see the rest of these speed builds. Look out for shorts in the future, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, bye!